Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley is brought to you by Aggressive Marketing Solutions, your solution for all business social media needs. If you need a team of social media marketers and content creators to help you build your brand on social media, text WES 2020 to 541-709-6502 today. Get started building your brand on social media. Success is defined differently by every individual. Some have never even considered what it is. I hope when I get older I'll be successful. What does that even mean? Money? Cars? Big house? On this show, we strive to look at it a little deeper, learning from successful individuals on what they believe success really is and how to obtain it. Everybody, enjoy the show. This is Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley.
Hello and welcome to the Shaping Success podcast and live show. This is episode 10. We are here with our guest, John Hutton. John is a successful video and photo creator out of Washington State. So let's dive into how John shapes his success.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to the show, John. How you doing?
Nice. Nice talking to you in person, actually.
I know it's been a pretty cool transition here.
So on Twitter.
Yeah.
You got toilet paper over there?
Yeah, we got a little bit over here. We're not quite out yet.
It didn't hit us fighting at the stores.
Yeah, it didn't hit us as early as it hit Washington, I think.
Yeah, it's been bad over here.
Yeah, are you guys in quarantine, like in your house for good yet, or?
Like my wife and kids are, but I'm not. I still have work. So I'm going out to work. A lot of my business jobs and stuff, though, got postponed. But, my day job that I do. Go ahead.
That's pretty rough. But, hey, let's keep working through it. That's kind of what I feel like. I feel like we've got this opportunity to go ahead and do this. It's great that we don't have to be, not that I wouldn't mind hanging out with you, but we don't want to make anything happen, right?
Yeah.
So I met John on Twitter. We're going to talk a little bit about John and his process and journey. John, can you tell us about where it all started? Tell everyone about the story of in high school and things like that, and where you come from, and we want to know a little bit about you.
Well, I started actually really young. My parents had a video camera, like a lot of people do. So I would always go, try to sneak it out of their room, and I would go film with some friends and stuff. But yeah, by the time that I was probably about 8, I think it was when I wrote my first script. I shot with friends and stuff a lot then. And then as time went on, I couldn't always use my parents' video camera, so I started a lawn mowing business. I got enough money to be able to buy a camera and equipment, and everything else. And then pretty much from there, I just worked to be able to do these other jobs, which at that time, this is before YouTube, way before YouTube. There wasn't even videos on internet, back then. So for a kid to be doing that, it was weird. Like a lot of people thought I was weird for doing it. But I think like the very first website was called like videoupload.com, pretty straightforward. But that was the first one that I ever started putting videos on. And then throughout high school, this is still before YouTube, there was like a couple contests that came out, but still internet was nothing like it was, how it is now. Because if you try to watch a video on the internet back then, you would have to wait about 15 minutes for it to load. Right. But but I ended up I did a couple contests. And I think it was like when I really started, at least people looked at it a little bit more seriously, is I ended up, there was an Andy Milonakis show, and I don't know if you remember that or not, but it was on MTV.
Oh, yeah.
There was a contest for it to make a rap, so there was a bunch of people uploading different raps and stuff to this contest. Well, I was the only one that made like a rap music video with animation and everything in it. And it was terrible animation, but just the fact that I did it, it ended up pushing me through to this contest. And then it was on the MTV2 website, for a long time. And before they picked the winner, it got down to me and just one other kid. And then Andy Milonakis just picked whoever he wanted to have on a show. Well, I had like a lot more votes, but then he ended up picking the kid. So instead, just for a while, they ended up like a quick clip at the end of one of his episodes that the kid was on. It just showed my video on MTV2. So from there, people took it a little bit more seriously. So yeah, I just kept working at it. But if you want the full story, by the time I went to film school, they ended up like YouTube and all that. That wasn't like respected at all, on YouTube.
Right.
So pretty much when I went to school, they're like, if you're going to keep doing YouTube videos, you're never going to make it in the film industry, because they looked at it as a joke. People aren't really making money like they're doing now doing that.
Yeah, which is the reality of that today is crazy, because like you said, they thought that was funny. And that's what I thought when you were telling me about that on our Twitter conversations, how that was, it's hilarious that it was like not a good thing. And now all of a sudden it's like, that's all everyone does.
Yeah, it's everywhere now.
So,
and I even, go ahead.
I was just wondering, so where'd it go from there? Because we talked about it a little bit. Let's keep on going with the story here, because when they told you that wasn't really a good thing, you kind of lost connection with that, right? And then moved on to other things.
Yeah, because I had this one thing I was focused on. I was wanting to be a filmmaker. So here I am at film school, like working with all these other people that had the love for it as much as I did, and then I'm hearing from a directing teacher, writing teacher, all these people saying like, no, you're crazy to do these videos. And at this point, I probably, most of the videos I had were like up to 100,000 views, which isn't like huge, but at that time, it's a decent amount. But they're just like, you got to get rid of them if you want any future in the film industry. So I just, what I did, I deleted all that. I tried to take film more seriously. And I'm not really a very serious person. I like visual effects. I kind of just like to entertain. And most of that comes from just making people laugh. But so when this all happened, I took it to heart. I deleted, and then I tried to be the serious filmmaker. And, I fit in within the, at my school, but like that didn't really get me anywhere, like that kind of crushed me a little bit. So by the time that I ended up, film school was over, I had a little opportunity where I could be an editor's assistant. But it was 3 months unpaid internship to see if I would get the job. And I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I had student loans to pay for and everything. So I kind of, took a step back and I gave up on myself. I could have made it work, but at that point I gave up. And, that I wish I just had the mindset I do now, back then. And I definitely would have made different decisions. But yeah, I was down that path for a while where I was just like, nothing's going to happen from this. But I don't know, if you have a passion for something, you can feel it, kind of eat away at you, so you always want to do it, so I was still doing things here and there, but I kept telling myself, oh no, nothing's going to happen from it. Nothing's going to happen from it. But even then, I got asked to do work for people, and different companies and stuff would ask me. So then finally I was like, I'm going to actually, try to move forward with this. I don't care what I'm doing. I just love to create. I love to do this type of work. And, slowly I started doing photography, Photoshop, I would do everything. So it's kind of hard to fall into one category just because there's so much that I do.
So what changed that mindset? What was that? Because this, Shaping Success, the podcast, the live show is about that mindset. Like, what made you feel like, because I myself, I went through this too. I was one of those people who was like glasses half empty all the time, waiting for stuff to happen. And when something good happened, I was happy about it. But now it's a whole different story. So what made you decide that, hey, this is what I need to do?
Well, yeah, I first started off, I listened to Tony Robbins' podcast at first. And you just kind of realize you're not alone, with this feeling. Like, everybody has this feeling. And then from listening to Tony Robbins, I came upon Gary Vee, same thing. Like, you just listen to it and they're like, you're not the only one out there, like tons of people deal with the same thing. But it's just like, you got to overcome it. If it's something that you love, like, you should just be doing it. Like, don't worry about what other people are saying. Like, you just do it every day. Like, if you love it, you have to do it. And kind of what's happened to me just by taking that advice and what I picked up from listening to like Gary Vee's podcast or Tony Robbins is I just apply it every day. I'm like, okay, well, I want to make this. I'll make this. I'll do some work for other people. And slowly it's grown and grown. And, this all started again probably about 4 years ago. And then it picked up a little bit more in the past couple of years. But as far as my income goes, like I was working the same job. It was a decent job. But once they discovered the work I was doing, it bumped me up to a position where I do all their commercial marketing and a lot of like training and stuff for them. So right off the bat, started making more there. And then I'd pick up jobs from other companies, around. So I had my business license. Started my business license. And then slowly, just within the matter of 2 years, I tripled my income from the before.
So what's cool is
I'm doing what I love.
Yeah, what I'm hearing here though is like you went from being kind of insecure about everything because people were telling you what you wanted to do was not right, and then you finally found the fact that who cares what other people think, and that's a great way to look at it, because I was the same way. It's like I was this high school jock, I was too cool for everything that everyone else was doing, and I didn't want to be putting myself out there. And now I get on here and I'm doing this, and I'm doing daily videos for motivational things and things like that. So it's awesome that you found that. And that's kind of how I met you, through that Gary Vee challenge, because I think everyone was posting that, but all I would see on Twitter was the people that were continually doing it. And there was a few, you were one of them. And then you kind of posted something on Twitter about creating a logo or something for someone. And I responded to that. And then that ended up being the show logo that we have up here. I'm not even pointing in the right direction because everything's opposite, but yeah. So what do you have a regular day job, right? And then a lot of your stuff you do on your own.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I have a family, so I have a wife and two boys, 4 and 7. So I try to make time to do everything. And luckily, my oldest son just recently got into making videos too. Normally my schedule, it's not for everybody, but it's, it's what I do. But normally, like I'll go to sleep at 10 o'clock. I'll wake up at 3 in the morning, and then I'll get some work done. And if I have to go into work at my day job at 6, well, then that's normally a 12-hour shift. So then I'll come home and I'll have, a couple hours with the family, and then I'll do it all over again. But then on my off days, I'm doing a video with my kids as kind of like my family time, my time to share with them. It's something that I love, and it's something that my sons are interested in. And then I just, anybody else that has work for me to do for my business, I'll do that work then too. But then I constantly do something for myself, something with my kids, something that's going to be for my business, something for their company. So I'm just making, and I love all of it that I'm doing. It's enjoyable to me. It does keep me really busy. Like right now is actually the least busiest I've been with this pandemic, but I'm still working. Like I'm still doing work at home.
Yeah. So that's kind of crazy. Like we talked about that a lot, and how doing what you love is very important, and how I'm trying to remember, you told me you were doing something else before you were doing this. So your little break from film school and working a little bit, you took a break, right? And you hated what you were doing, and you just came back to it. How did that work out for you? I mean, it takes a lot of hours to get this stuff done, but it doesn't really seem like work, right?
Yeah. Well, the job that I had before, I don't know, I kind of bounced between jobs after film school, but pretty much any job I had, I hated, just because I knew I was working to pay off a student loan that I wasn't using anything for. And, but yeah, then I landed, it's actually the same company that I work at now, but I worked down in their warehouse. It was absolutely nothing that I ever planned on doing, but just by, I don't know, like once I got more motivated about it and talking more to people, and then being more like open about the type of work that I enjoy doing, that's what kind of opened up, one door, and then another one opened up, and then just kind of continued on. And right now everything's doing, I don't know, like everything's going really well, and I still want to grow even more so, but I have a pretty big variety of stuff, that I'm doing. But in my opinion, it's like, if you just do a little bit of everything, and if it's something that you love, if something picks up or something, somebody will see something that they want here, like it's just the type of work that I do. It does kind of, it can open me up to a lot of different doors, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of about being like it's kind of like being a jack of all trades, and you're invaluable because you can, if your current job that you have right now doesn't work out, they can use you in another area because you can do more than just making videos, more than just making graphics, more than just taking pictures. So yeah, great way to expand that.
You brought up that Gary V on Twitter, like that actually, because everybody's posted on, well, I can't remember what it was, some hashtag that Gary V, started. Well, I had this video because I was, listening to Gary V all the time. And I was like, I think that'd be kind of funny to make a video that was just like, what if Gary V was a Gary V home, because, he's blunt with people, what he says, so it's like, what if you asked your home device and if they answered you like Gary V would answer you? So I sat there and I cut up a bunch of clips from his podcast, just a bunch of audio clips, and made this video. Well, suddenly all these people are retweeting it and they're asking me about it. But I thought that was kind of funny because it opened me up to like some more cool people. And I know somewhere along there, that's where we talked. But then I was like, well, it's kind of cool. I wasn't big on social media marketing. I know, like talking to you, but it is important. It really is. And I had a hard time with it since I just like to create. It's hard I want to put so much of that time creating and writing that it's hard to, really push, stuff out there, market it, right? But I don't know, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, and it's interesting too, because we talk a lot about that, but really it's not even really marketing, in my opinion. Like it's just putting stuff out there, and that's what you do. And I saw that Gary V clip and I thought that was hilarious. And then I was rolling through your TikTok last night and kind of looking at some of the stuff you've done. And I've looked at a bunch of your videos and they're all really clever. Like I'm not that big of a creator. I can talk, that's my skill, but I can't. We talk to people like this podcast. You're looking at everything here. I have someone doing that for me because I'm not that creative, but I'm good at talking. I'm good, and I know I have this passion for helping other people succeed. So it's kind of cool to see that. So just understand that your creating is still marketing. You're branding yourself, like, how to do that. So you're still doing it just in a different way. So, let's talk about JH Visuals. Is this your personal company? Is that what JH is versus where you work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is like your main focus with JH then? What do you do there? Is it all just kind of freelance stuff?
Yeah, because honestly, it came up because I was doing freelance work and it got to a point where, I needed to be licensed to, and I started making too much money and, all that. But so I just kind of fell into it because it's like, all right, if people are going to keep asking me to do it, I better actually make it official. But whereas in the film industry, you get hired per job and then you get paid through a production company. And that's the way I was more familiar with working. I was like, well, if I'm going to do work around here, there's not really where I'm at, there's a couple production companies, but not to say they're terrible or anything, but it's just like they're not as good of quality. So I was like, well, maybe I can just kind of swoop in here, and get some work. And it has worked so far. But yeah, I still do a lot of work on film though too. Like I'll do visual effects for different films and stuff, and then do DVD jackets, and I still get asked to do film work. But so much of it isn't under my business name. I still get hired on, so I just kind of had to give myself a title, a business that I could work under. And at this point, that's how it started. At this point, I'm trying to actually grow and turn it into a production company. And that's where I'm headed towards now.
Okay. Well, I love that. I love the fact that you took, it is what it is. It's one of those stories where you took what you previously had, you loved it, but then you kind of took a little break and then you're back at it because you got to work a little bit harder, but it's what you love. So it doesn't really look like work. So that's a great thing to have going for you. Okay. So kind of moving on here. So this show is called Shaping Success. Okay. And what that means for me is finding out how a person shapes their success. What do they look at success? How do they define it? Because it's different for every single person. For me, it's helping other people succeed in reaching their goals. And I want to show people that it's simple change in mindset that can push you forward and help you reach your goal. Kind of like you did by getting through that insecurity. Same thing I'm doing. So can you tell us what the shape of your success is? How do you define success in your life and what you're doing?
Well, I think it's really important to look at success as just being happy with where you're at. Like you could have somebody that, they could be working at McDonald's, be married and have kids. And if that's how they see success, if they're happy, then, that's success for them. Like they had a job. Maybe it was hard for them to get a job in the first place. They got this job. I don't look down at anybody, in that way. Everybody's success is different. And for me, me personally, at first, I always felt like a failure. And it took, I don't know, it took a lot of work and then kind of understanding from other people's perspectives too on how I saw, or like how you're saying, you see success. But right now I'm married, I have two beautiful little boys. I'm doing what I love and, like have a house, I have food on the table, like I did succeed. I do have goals to go much further, but like, in my opinion, like I succeeded at doing what I love for a living and, I have a wife and kids and, I really couldn't ask for anything more. Doesn't mean I don't want more though, but just everything's good. And
Right.
That's my kind of version of success.
Yeah. And setting goals and attaining them is an awesome way to make that happen. I think that I've been listening a lot to people like, I don't know if you've heard of Lewis Howes, but he's kind of along the line of Tony Robbins. He's interviewed him multiple times and that's, it is what you define it as. It's happiness. It's finding those things. So it's awesome to hear that. So coming down the pipe here, we want to talk a little bit about where we can find you. What are you doing? I know I found you on Twitter. I'm pretty sure you're on all the other social medias. Is there a place that can you tell us about where we can look at your stuff or find you or how we can get in contact with you if someone needs a little help with some of the stuff that you do?
Yeah, so right now it's at John Hutton on Instagram. I'm trying to remember my YouTube handle. YouTube/Jonathan Hutton, I think it is. I might have to verify that. And then Facebook is facebook.com/JHVisuals. And Twitter, it's at JHVisuals. And then I do have a TikTok. And that's also at JH_visuals and at John Hutton. Got two of them.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't seen that before, there's some pretty funny videos on there. I laugh at all of them. The one with the what if adults had to go to potty like kids? That's so hilarious. There's a bunch of good stuff on there, but it's pretty funny.
If you're a boy, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was younger, a lot of that was actually partly true. Like when I was younger, I used to sleepwalk, and I ended up sleepwalking and peeing in my parents' fridge. So I ended up, I was like, that'd be a good thing to throw in there. But I don't know. You'd have to watch it if anybody's curious.
Well, it was great having you on the show. I'm glad you're able to do this. I appreciate you making those logos for me and everything. It's been really cool, and we'll stay in contact for sure. So thanks again for being here.
Yeah. Actually, can I add one thing? So
yeah, go for it.
So the one thing that I'd want to tell people, younger, it doesn't matter how old you are really, like I stuck with something for a long time when I was 8 all the way up, until I went to film school, and it worked. And like got a lot of notice and stuff for it. But it was what other people told me that ended up, affecting me. But, as you see now, like YouTube got big. It was really big. And I was right there on that cusp right before people started getting paid for it. If I would have stuck around, I could have probably easily made something of that too. And that was actually what I liked doing. I just liked making videos, funny videos, it didn't matter. But yet I took what other people were saying and I let that affect me. And that right there, it hurt. Like I'm over it now. I had to, but there's that bit of regret. But if there's something you love, and people may not accept it now, but just go for it. If there's something you love, like just do it. You could start it on the side. It could be a side gig, but just do it. Like you'll find your place at some point.
And that's a great message. I'm glad that you said that, because I think that is just like you said, we sit here and we let people define what our success looks like. And that's what society kind of dictates. And it's really owning who you are and doing it on your own. So great work with that. That's awesome. All right. Well, that is the show. If you feel that if this show had brought you any value, please share it. Help me out sharing it with people. As you go out through your day and the rest of your week, I want you to think about it, how you define shaping your success. Have a great weekend.
This was Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley, brought to you by Aggressive Marketing Solutions. If you need a team of marketers to help you with social media, all you need to do to start is text Wes 2020 to 541-709-6502. 541-709-6502. That is Aggressive Marketing Solutions. Have a great day. See you next time.